All right, got it. Thank you. Thanks, Luciana. All right, I think we're ready, Tom, when you are.
All right, great. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for being with us.
Thank you all for inviting us.
Very kind.
Mhm.
I'm going to begin to ask you a few questions,
Okay.
and the first couple, three questions are very just kind of straightforward, and then we'll get into a conversation.
Okay.
My first question is if you would give us your full name,
Okay.
and if you would also spell it for us, please.
Okay. My name is Sakinah Ziyadah Ali. The first name is Sakinah, Sakinah. The middle name is Ziyadah. The last name is Ali, Ali.
And then could you tell us what your preferred pronoun is?
Just Sakinah. Oh, just
Probably she or her?
yeah,
I'm
just
guessing?
yeah, yes, she, yes.
Yeah. Right. And then, were you born in Savannah?
I was not born in Savannah. I was born in Sylvania, Georgia, but I was raised here in Savannah.
And then where did you go to school and, I mean, all that when you were growing up here?
Went to the local schools here. Oh God, you're kind of taking me back quite many years here. Elementary school here, or preschool, elementary. Anderson Street School, when it was a school at that time. Hubert, Wilder, Myers, Savannah High. Graduated from Richard Arnold High School. Yeah.
And then, could you tell us a little bit about the mosque and how you came to your faith?
I came to my faith of Al-Islam through studying and questions as a youth, growing up as I was born, raised in the Christian church. So we, definitely went to church pretty much every Sunday. And as I continued to get older, there were certain questions that I had about certain things that were presented. And at that point, being young, it was just accept what was there. As I continued to get older and still had those questions and presented those questions to the leaders of the church, I was not quite satisfied. So around the age of 16, 17, I just started searching, looking for those answers. So I did kind of just go to different churches, went to holiness churches, Pentecostal churches, just different churches, religious organizations. Some was a organization, I can't quite remember. I said Just Believe, I think it was, at the time, that had a slogan, and even looked in there, and eventually came into Al-Islam. So, yeah.
And then where is the mosque? Where's your physical location?
Our physical location is 117 East 34th Street. We're between Abercorn and Drayton.
How long have y'all been there, roughly?
We have been in that current location since 1974, if I'm not mistaken. Okay.
And then, in broad terms, how big is the congregation, membership, and what's kind of the rhythm of life there?
On paper, and I'm certain all churches can say on paper, we have maybe over 200 members. On a regular congregational meeting that we have, which is a Friday prayers, we could say anywhere between 50 to 75 persons may come up. Anything else? Yeah.
And then, are Friday prayers the one time a week that people gather?
Yes, as a congregation, yes. We do have our 5 daily prayers that we do offer at the masjid. Persons can come in during those times to perform their prayers if they like. But on Friday, we have our standard congregational prayer. That's kind of mandatory for at least all Muslim males.
And then, what sort of, are there ways that the mosque, people that are involved in the mosque, are there ways that you interact with the larger community and have interacted with the larger community over these decades?
Yes. Even the this institution that we're sitting in right now is one of those places that we've interacted with on more than one occasions. There have, the colleges, local and some nationally, Georgia Southern, so many institutions, some of the high schools that we have been a part of programs, the colleges. We've been a part of the programs that they've offer, interfaith programs, religious dialogue. So yeah, so.
And your husband, who passed away, would have been at least in my experience, was sort of the face of the mosque for
Yeah.
many, many years.
Mm-hmm.
And so it sounds like what you're saying is he wound up on stage
Yeah.
many times representing the faith
Yes.
with other
Yeah.
clergy leaders and that sort of thing.
Yes.
What about in the I'd just be curious, in the neighborhood, you've been there for a long time.
Yes.
Have there been connections that you've made in the neighborhood with other people? Or
There are.
people who come to you and ask for help?
Right, yes. So there's, the church across the way from us. There's also, there what was a abortion clinic actually across the street from us, and we did try to establish and did, I think, establish a relationship with them, letting them know what our views were on the subject. And we ended up having a very good relationship with them as well. And then other persons, because we do live in our block is mostly a business block. There are some residentials now that's there, but it's predominantly a business block. But we do service the persons beyond that as well in the community. Yeah.
Have there been particular themes, I guess I would say, or there have been particular themes that over the years it seems like the mosque or people in the mosque have been particularly drawn to? One example might be prison ministry, or another example might be food security or whatever. But how does that work within the mosque?
Okay, both of those. We have with our prison services from my husband, Majid Fahim Ali. He was also involved with the prison services, going down to Reedsville, Georgia, the detention centers here, the Coastal Correctional Institution here in Savannah. So, in our present Imam Ibrahim Abdul Malik, he also serves now at the detention center. So we have been continuously keeping that process going, trying to just share, I think, more so with persons who are there of the Islamic faith and others, because we do have persons that are interested. So, yes, we do have that. And then on the food security side, we have established a food bag giveaway that we do twice a month. So we service persons in the community. There's no requirement for them. We don't, they don't have to attend the services. We don't ask any questions. We just, ask that they be respectful when they come. I mean, they don't have to come inside, but just be respectful to the surroundings and to others. So we've been doing that now since about 2001. Our prison ministry has been going since 1976, 78, around that time.
So
Yeah.
that's coming up on half a century.
Yeah.
Are there other things like this that just over time the mosque is just part of the way you live your lives?
Yeah. I mean, we've been, like I said, involved in definitely different programs. We've been called on to address certain issues when they come up, when we have major catastrophes in our society. We have organizations, we have news people to contact us because they want to get either our perspective or just, get our views.
And then I want to go back a little bit back toward the personal now, if I may, and just ask, how would you describe the way that your personal faith has changed you as a human being?
I would say overall it's made me a better human being. I mean, I was relatively young, so not had a lot of uh, world experience. And then I think too, because of my upbringing, was raised in a Christian home with morals, values, respect. So I think it is enhanced those qualities that were there, and then also to keep me from going in a direction that would have been probably destructive or not productive for me. So, yeah.
You know, as you look back at your upbringing, so that as a Christian, and then you had questions,
Mm-hmm.
and you began to explore,
Mm-hmm.
and you found the faith.
Mm-hmm.
I would be curious, as you think, what are the common threads, though, between Christianity and your faith?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What are the common connectors?
That we all believe in God, that we all want to have paradise. We all want, to go to paradise. That we believe in a supreme being. That we want to be good human beings, decent human beings. And I think those are the fundamentals, of just worshiping, that we all, want to be able to worship God, you know.
Does the faith, do you proselytize? How do people come to the faith?
I guess we do what we call dawah work, which is spreading the word. Like the prison ministry, that's called a dawah effort. Getting the word out to persons. Anytime that we're invited to places, I guess this would be somewhat dawah, maybe. um, uh, we get invited to schools, private schools, public schools, colleges. So all of that helps get the word out. We do get involved with some of the civic events, set up tables so that persons can be aware of any of the events that we have, Juneteenth, MLK, and the likes. So we set up tables and persons come by and ask questions. We invite them to come by if they like. And then just persons who are Muslims themselves tend to invite persons in. So, yeah.
In your experience, what has been the time when, as a faith, or as a group of people in the faith, you felt the least encouraged in Savannah, or maybe felt maybe even threatened? Or has that never really been a...
For me personally, I'll have to say I haven't. I mean, in spite of some things that have gone on, I've never felt frightened, afraid, or threatened to be who I am, to display who I am. And there have been, incidents, but nothing that has shaken me to the point that I've, thought fearful. Yeah.
And then are you now invited to, I mean, as my understanding, there are several interfaith groups that are organized ministerially. Are you involved in some of those groups? I mean, like, Rabbi Haas?
Who does not know Rabbi Haas? Yes, yes, yes. One of the programs, and unfortunately, hopefully we can get it back again, was our weekend of twinning. It started out as a weekend of twinning, and please, I can't remember the rabbi's, the person that initiated it, but this was something that we did initially with the synagogue. And then my husband felt that that not only should we have the synagogue involved, shouldn't just be the two faiths, because that's what it started out as, but to incorporate the Christian faith as well. So we kind of renamed it the Weekend of Tripling. So we had all three faiths come together. And there were other faiths that did come into as well. But the three main faiths would come together for a weekend that normally that Friday, well, we started Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And at one point, we did go around to each of the faith institution and visit, and had a lecture, just kind of get to know each other. And we would done that for several years. And unfortunately, with COVID, it kind of knocked a lot of things off. So we are hoping that maybe we can kind of get back into that, because it was it was always well attended, either to the masjid, to the synagogue, Billy Hester's church as well, I think, participated. So yeah, so it was a very good.
And this went on for like 2 years or 15 years?
This
or?
went on, oh God, that's where I should have looked at my notes. More than 2 years. Let me see. At least maybe 7, I'm going to say 7 to 8 years, at least. I could be wrong, could have been more, but yeah, at least 7 to 8 years. Yeah, that this went on.
Well, just to say it, one of the nice things is we're talking in decades,
Okay.
here, right? I mean, which is nice. I mean,
Right.
we're talking about,
Yeah.
doing anything for 10 years
Yeah.
that involves cooperation. I mean, it's to be admired. Let me ask, individually among membership, are there individual members that for whatever reason seem to be exemplary with regard to how they face out into the community and in terms of the way they contribute to community life, either through volunteer work or through civic work or possibly even political work?
Yeah, we have some persons that are involved politically, maybe not in a big way, but maybe that really stands out, and persons that do civic work. Yeah, so we do have those individuals.
How would you describe a mutual friend of ours, Lester Johnson, who is an assistant city attorney? I mean, how would you describe the role he plays with regard to his faith and in the larger community?
Very crucial. I mean, he's very vital, part of that. He's that bridge, that we definitely can cross and rely on, because he knows persons in the different religious organizations, different religious sects, social committees, social aspects, and the government as well. So he's a very vital part of that, bridging that and bringing in information to us and keeping us involved as well in the outer community.
Can I say just for a second, that was wonderful. But could you start out and just say Lester Johnson, and so we know somebody else knows who you're talking about?
Yeah. So you'll just say, well, Lester Johnson is, and then just go.
Okay. So Lester Johnson is a very vital part of our community. Very vital part of our community. He's a bridge for our social events, religious events, political events. He keeps us in the loop. He keeps us in the know of what's going on, helping us keep involved in things, hence this event here, this program, to keep us abreast of what's going on. So yeah, he's very, very vital.
And then are there other people who within the congregation that have certain connections to other parts of the community that really act as those bridges, for example? Possible.
Yes, we have Lynn Thompson Hill. She's very vital. She works on several committees at our masjid, and she's also a bridge. She's a community activist in her neighborhood, in the community, and she keeps us abreast, keeps us informed of things that's going on. Then we also have our Imam Ibrahim Abdul Malik. even though he has to travel from Hilton Head, South Carolina, bless his heart. He does come over to service the prison system here, and he's also involved in what's going on in the community. So he keeps us abreast as well. Yeah.
Do you have people that are connected to the medical community here?
We do have some persons that are connected to the medical community here that do help us and assist us with, getting us information. We don't have as many doctors in our community as we used to have, but we do have some nurses and other persons who work in the medical field. Mm-hmm.
And then let me go back to the personal a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if I may, as you sort of look at yourself as a member of the congregation, I mean, how do you see yourself as a member of this congregation? What role do you play?
A member, a servant of God. I try to stay involved in activities that's going on. I also try to help keep the community abreast of things that's going on as well. Currently, we are attending or do attend the FEMA workshops for religious preparedness on different themes that they have. I tend to attend those events, pass information on to the community. So I try to stay involved, and I think I'm pretty well involved in the community. Yeah, that's all.
Now, I don't know about, I'm fishing here a little bit, okay?
Okay.
But when I was growing up at McVigeral Temple, there were always one or two women that were unofficially the mothers of everyone, right? All the kids, they were the mothers. Is there someone like that at the mosque who really is officially or unofficially like the mother?
I don't know. Oh God, I may call you back and take this out. I would say I tend to try to keep abreast of things that's going on. And get information out. I serve on several committees at the masjid. I serve on the board, the administrative board. So I do have a say in certain things that go on at Al-Mas. So I don't know the term mother figure. I don't know if I want to use that term or not. But I would say that in a way to just be connected and involved and getting information out, I would say I'm one of those persons. I'll put it like that. Maybe one of those persons. I'll just say one person. So I don't know if that answers your question or not. But, okay.
You had mentioned SEMA, or, FEMA. I mean, are there times congregationally, in times of emergency or times of urgency, are there times when the mosque has had to respond to maybe individual people or individual families?
Thus far, we have not. Like I said, our food bag that we do, we are a emergency agency. So if persons need something in an emergency situation, we will assist. But we are thankful that thus far we have not had to, serve in a capacity of saying shelter any facility or being in terms of that. Yeah.
And then let me ask, as you look back into your own faith, is there a particular moment that led you into the direction that you've moved?
It was a process. It was a process. So nothing, I think, nothing, no just particular moment. It was a process, a learning process, a studying process. Um, I mentioned I had, when I was younger, searching, I did attend like at the time, the temple, when it was under the Nation of Islam. Attended the temple just to see what it was like. But nothing, came of that at that point. So, but it was a continuation. It was just a learning process and learning that this is where I was supposed to be. So, yeah.
Tom, if I may, I have a quick question. I used to work at Cable 7 when it was Cablevision of Savannah. I remember your husband had a program there that he did for quite some time.
Yeah.
That to me always was, it stood out as sort of a community outreach effort. I would like it if you could sort of walk us through that and other things we may not be familiar with about your husband's legacy in the mosque. I think he sort of was the driving force, right, for so many years.
Yes.
And you can start out with my husband so we can.
Okay.
Yeah, but of course, tell Tom, not.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So, my husband, Imam Majid Fahim Ali, who was the Imam at Masjid Jihad for right at 40 years, or a little bit over 40 years, had many programs, initiatives that he was a part of throughout the community. One that comes to mind was what we call CRADE, which was a committee to remove all racial images from divine, from worship. So this was an initiative that was done to get churches just to see, and other religious organizations to see, that they didn't need to have a image to worship, that they didn't need that in their churches. So this was, that was something that was initiated here in Savannah. Initiative to rid the streets of crime. That was, and I can't remember the acronym for it, or whether or not they had an acronym for it, but we had brothers in the community that would go out in crime-ridden areas and, talk about the crime and letting persons know that they should put down the guns and the fighting and the stealing and all the things that were going on. There were several television stations, radio stations. The late Ben Tucker was a part of that. He saw it, what was going on, and took light to it, and made sure that the word got out. There are some other television stations, WTOC, WJCL, SAV, the names of the persons I can't remember right now. And then there was the somewhat more of a religious outpouring or outreach of the program called Rebirth of America. It was a radio program and a television program on Cable 7 here in Savannah for many, 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 many years. Every Saturday evening, my husband, Imam Majid Fahim Ali, would present to the community different views, different aspects of the religion, social ills that we were dealing with. He would address on that program. And it was a great means of, I know we talked about dawah. That was a form of dawah because that was on cable. And persons would come up to him any and everywhere, no matter where we were. Persons would come up, young and old, teenagers, the racial line, it didn't matter, would come up to him because they would see him and something that he said would resonate with him. And so this was a form of dawah. And this went on for many, many years. And even to this day, persons still remember that program. that we, had on Cable 7, and also was a part of the WTOC radio station with Mr. Ben Tucker as well. Yeah, yeah,
That, that's a great memory.
yeah,
Memory
yeah,
then
yeah,
of all that.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Are there other things you would like to make sure that we know about you, about the faith, about the way the faith is engaged in this community?
The we are constantly, our community is constantly involved in. There's a organization through Healthy Savannah called the Faith and Health Coalition, and we are a member of that. We are also members of the Congregation in Service, which is an organization that does community work, and we've been members of that since about 2008, maybe. Yeah, 2008. And this is a community organization that goes out in the community that does community work, and of all faiths. So we come together twice a year, and actually we have a program session that's coming up in a couple of weeks, and we go out to different places, persons' homes, the community, any place that needs help with assistance, with painting, cleaning, just to and it's just so much more because we also get together. We're different faiths coming together, many faiths coming together, and working together. And this is being seen out in the community. So it's not necessarily about dawah, but it's because we're learning about other faiths as well. And we should not be amiss that we're not beyond learning about other faiths. So when we come together, we're all learning. We're taking away something from each other. And this is something that we are proud that we are doing. We're also involved with, or have been part of the, I think it was called the Downtown Thanksgiving program that's held every year. So we've been a part of that for many years as well. There have been occasions that we've done, our imams, my husband included, has done the inauguration for the mayors and the city councilmen, graduations at Savannah State University. So we tend to be out there and being involved in interfaith dialogue with churches and organizations as well. So, yeah.
Well, it sounds like your interfaith involvement and involvement in the community is just so woven in to the experience of the mosque over these decades that I can imagine it's almost hard to even pull it out and think about
Right,
it.
it is. It is.
Yeah. It's just part of this, how we are.
Yes,
Part of
yes,
what we do.
it is. And like I said, just the number of churches that we have a relationship with, and it's just phenomenal. So we're thankful, and the synagogues as well. So yeah.
Let me check with these guys, and they kind of have my back on
Right,
questions
sure.
and that sort of thing. Are there things you want to try to get at?
I
that
guess
we've not-
I would just sort of like to hear your perspective maybe on how Savannah at large responds to you're in a minority faith and in Savannah, and how the community at large receives that, and what you think the challenges, and also how the city might have some unique fabric that holds it together in a way, that you think your mosque plays a role in that, but also how they perceive you, right? So sort of stepping into the shoes outside of the mosque and what that might be from that perspective. I guess sort of just your take on Savannah as a religious faith universe, if you
I think overall it's embracing.
If you don't mind, start with putting Savannah into the answer.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's okay. Overall, I think the Savannah community is embracing of the Islamic faith. I think it's getting, better at anything that we do that's new. We are kind of somewhat reluctant at times to accept, but I think that the more persons learn about the faith in Savannah, then they're more accepting. Trying to remember some of the other questions he asked. Some of the challenges, I think, is from persons' own perceptions that they may perceive that we're trying to change them, but that's not what we're doing or trying to do. Some of the religious leaders in Savannah may have that perception. So we do get that sometime that, and we're fine with that. We're not trying to change anyone's religion. We're trying to dialogue. And when we do that, then when we are able to sit down and have that dialogue, I think we all come away with a better understanding and a better respect for each other. So,
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
And I'm sorry you were nervous.
Yes.
You were great. You want to clap the same with the right thing on it?
No, we don't get it. It's fine. Yes.
I think word for word, that is really just right. I mean, we've had people here with lots of words, but word for word. Well, thank you, really.
Very helpful.
Well, thank you all. Appreciate it. Thank you.
And I know you were a little nervous.
Yes.